They basically painted it as that, but we were doing these little missions sort of all over the West Bank. It was getting really increasingly harder to do it. The U.S. was playing a critical role in what was going on in Lebanon. Condoleezza Rice came to Ramallah to have a meeting with Mahmoud Abbas of the Palestinian Authority, and I somehow got one of the press questions to ask Condoleezza Rice, and I asked her, because she's from Birmingham, I think I asked her, if segregation in Alabama was bad for you, why do you think it's okay for, people in Palestine? And of course, I was immediately removed by the U.S. Secret Service, removed me, and she refused to answer the question, compare the two, blah, 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 moved on. And they were like, oh, you think you're a badass, huh? You think you're cool, huh? Well, we're going to turn you over to the Palestinian Authority. So that's what they did. They handed me over to them. And the Palestinian Authority is a guy, walks me down the hall, and he's, talking to the other guy in Arabic. I don't know what they're saying. And he goes, that was a good question. That was a very good,
Yeah, what the fuck did they think was going to happen?
Which I didn't even come up with the question. It was a Palestinian guy that came up with it, told me to ask that. I was like, oh my God, that's so good.
Why did they think that the Palestinians would be like,
yeah, they paid a cabbie to take me home. That's what happened.
Yeah, dude,
they literally, out of their own pockets, were like, oh, here. And no, it's good. I was getting out my money, and they were like, no, and they paid the cab guy he's just like, where are you staying? And they he's like, just get out of here before they want you back. Talking about the U.S. people. So
fucking rules.
So that happened about a week, and so then I knew, I was like, oh shit, I'm probably on some radars now.
Yeah.
And we were doing different, like I said, little missions and stuff, and we did a couple of actions with Israeli anarchists that were really hardcore at the border at Gaza. And after a week of that, I got back to Jerusalem, and I was on my way to a protest at the U.S. Embassy, actually. It was at the U.S. Embassy. And I should have known there'd be a lot of cameras there, a lot of U.S. Embassy intelligence folks. Obviously they're gonna have a recording from the video, from it or whatever. And this one lady stuck her camera in my face and just kept flipping her off. And I'm not sure what happened or at what point, but this van just pulled up and got out and kind of grabbed this Palestinian guy that was at the front of the protest. He was a young guy, good looking dude, really ripped, and obviously the main force of the, if we were looking at, it was mostly women that were out there and kids and stuff. And this guy was just a big ripped dude. They grabbed him. So we grabbed him as well, trying to de-arrest him. And we were not successful. Me and two of my friends from Scotland actually got beat up really bad by the Jerusalem Police Department. They shoved us in the vans, and they actually shoved us below the seats. If that even makes sense. They kicked us into the under the seats.
Wow.
And
not for nothing, but you're a pretty big dude.
I'm a big dude, man. And I was probably in the best shape of my life around then, honestly.
Just Jared Lorenzen era.
yeah, but they stuffed me as far as they could up under the seat and put their feet on us to drive us to the police station. They just kind of kept sticking their feet in our heads. Then they basically put us on the concrete in the parking lot for about 2 hours on our knees with our cuffs on, and took us to the bathroom, took us in one bathroom, took the Palestinian in another bathroom. I can only assume what they did to them, but they strip searched us.
Yeah.
And after that, my comrades from Scotland had their IDs on them. I didn't, because I was I know I'm going to get nabbed the next week or two, and I'm going to screw with them as much as I can. So they had their IDs. I didn't have mine. They pretty much charged them really quick with, some BS, stuff that was just a misdemeanor, and they let them go. They let the Palestinian go because he was pretty well known. They already knew what he was up to.
Yeah.
And his whole family's been activists for a long time, actually, in East Jerusalem. I got to meet him. I got to know him better through this, but I was stuck there for about 3 hours in interrogation because they really wanted to know who the hell I was. And they basically, after, 3 hours, they went out for a smoke break, and I was able to talk the 19 or 20-year-old kid that, put me in the shackles. I was like, hey, man, I've been out for 10 minutes. Where have you been? And he goes, sorry, and, literally just undid my cuffs. I said I left my watch in the office. I walked back into the office and grabbed all of our files and shoved them into my cargo. I had cargo shorts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I filled them like the cheeks of a squirrel.
For something.
Man.
Women, they say they're bad, but,
Wow.
they could save a life someday.
This was 2006, y'all. And stuffed them, and my friends were in the lobby there, and they saw, what was going on, and they were playing cool. And I was just I walked out the front, and I was like, I'll see y'all at home. And they were like, okay. And they kind of stayed back, and I always gave them my middle name when I was there because it's not lying and it's not really giving them much.
The authorities or your...
The authorities.
Okay.
So I would always just say I was Patrick. So they walked back in and they're like, where's Patrick? And my friend said he's in the bathroom, and then they left. Yeah. And so, we don't know, basically I ran to, which I was hurt, right? Man, I got kicked in the balls. I was not feeling good. I kind of hobbled back to East Jerusalem in the old city, and I saw these kids with they had a fire going, and I just started pulling out all these Israeli police paper documents and started throwing them in the fire. And these kids were just helping me, and I was like, no, don't help. I don't want you to be an accomplice. Just let me use your fire. And, I made it back to a friend's house, a good college friend, actually a friend of mine from college. His family lived in the old city. They put me up for a day, and I knew they had cameras all throughout the old city. So I was like, I got to get out of here. And
I was about to say, are you worried about telling the story on air? But there are no records of it.
No, there aren't.
Also, satire podcast.
Yeah. And so I didn't get caught again until trying to cross the border 3 days